Morning. We are in Hilchas Keilim. Today's Shiur is on the Rambam Perokim Yud Beis. A few halachas Yud Beis, and then go back to Perokim Aleph and take a look at what he wrote there. And we're going to be dealing with glass vessels. So there are vessels made of wood, vessels made of earthenware, vessels made of bone, of skin. Those are the different vessels. Now the halacha is, Perokim Beis halacha aleph, they broke. One of the ways to make something pure is if it breaks. Taru metumas, they are now pure. However, what happens if you took after you broke them, and then you made a Keilim back, you made it into a vessel again, or you did another Keilim? The halacha is they are now totally pure, as if nothing ever happened. Then we have the metal vessel. Broke. After it became Tameh. All these have here. Tar. Oh, Ticha. You put them together. Because of an awesome and Keilim Acherim. Goes back to the original Tum. Special Takon. Now, here, the Rambam says a very interesting expression. Ve'ein lekli matchis tahara gemura. There is no complete purification. Either atziad bilei memikveh, kishem shleima. Either you table them in a mikveh when they are complete, then they'll be or yishiru shur, or leave them broken. Now, I have a bit of problem in the wording and its comparison to broken Keilim to a mikveh. Because the mikveh is tar, finished. Broken Keilim, which are not totally pure, because if they are put together again, they're going to come back tameh. So why is he using that phrase, hara gemura? Why is he stressing that gemura? Okay. We'll get to that. Okay, so till now we've learned that there is a unique halacha in klimatches that if you put them together, they are tameh. That kind of Rabbanan. We'll see why. Halacha Beis, he explains it. To go back to the old tumah, there is safe. Why? Very, very unique understanding of the salah. On that same day that you broke it, you're going to put it together again. You run right to the guy who takes care of the metals, and he'll immediately weld it, put it together. So now, im yemeshu toyer, gedin Torah, and now it's Torah according to the way the Torah says. Yavei leimar. People will say, "Oh, let's now take a look." Shvira mitaheres, Tvila mitaheres. Shvira makes Torah. Tvila makes Torah. Oh, Shem nishbar v'heitichai, awesome and a kli. If I break it, put it together again, it's part maybe that same day. It be like kachem, it be like so. Same thing with Tvila. Avishu kishaya areu Torah maybe. when you table, we're going to lose that halacha of Erev Shemesh. Now, we'll see in the Gemara there's different opinions, but this is what the Rambam says. Although the Rambam's learning of this opinion is different than what other Rishonim. This is the Rambam's understanding. Now, it's very important to get this understanding because it's, I think, a very, very important point to the Rambam. Halacha Yud. Finally, come to the subject of the day. Klis chuchis, glass, shenitmu, nishberu, taharu, kichol hakelim. It's Torah like all kelim. Afilei ticha, also in kelim acher, einem chayz lo to my yishon. Why? In other words, that was bothered. Why? Why not? That's the question. Oh, we'll see. And the answer is, if you should ikka to masim, they were saying. Because they're talking about they were saying, therefore, the gods are laying to Misha. Since Sai Klis Chuches shouldn't be tummy altogether. They became tummy. And when they break, we didn't create this new halacha of causing it to Misha. Now, here goes another halacha. Chein Klis Chuches. Shenishbru. Now here, the Rambam goes on, the Chein. They broke in a way that the broken pieces are usable. They're usable. Why? Which we wouldn't say this halacha, but they're not like klicheres. They're not like klicheres. Why would we say they are like klicheres? We'll see soon. And then he goes through and describes the case. Now let's take a look why what's he getting at. So we got to go back to the beginning. You may be gracious. Perek Alav Alocha Hey, where he finally introduces Klis Chuches. Klis Chuches einan mekabel tum midivri Torah. Klis Chuches are not mekabel tum midivri Torah. Chachamim gozer aleim shekabel tuma, hoyil utchilas biryosam minachoy, because their original creation came from sand. That's where you make glass. Kichlicheres, harei kichlicheres. They are like klicheres. However, the Rambam, a new idea. It's not a new idea. It's based on the Gemara, but the Gemara doesn't sound like the Rambam, as we will see soon. Since the inside and the outside of a klicheres are all see-through, like gozru aleim sheyitmu me'aviram ala'ad shatiga tuma behen be'miteichem be'migavim kechlimachas. When it comes to the tumah, they made it like klimatches. Why? Because since you see through, it's clear. That's what glass is. So therefore, it doesn't become tumah. Now, klicheres becomes tumah even if nothing touches it. It's just in the avir of the kli. If it's in the avir, the kli becomes tumah. So we said it's klicheres. Nope. Teichen kabarin is not klicheres. And therefore, it can be called teichen and migavim. Now we're going to see soon that that's not what the Gemara is talking. We're not talking about this case that he's referring. They go to Tuma not another few points. They go to Tuma al Pshutei. Pshutei Kliates doesn't become time. Pshutei Klicheres does, but here not. Elam Kableim has to be Mikab. Next, Ve'ein Lahem Tar B'Mik. No Tar B'Mik. Similar to Klicheres. Say for lame to Mekochish like goes our lame. You know, it's only a shash, it's only an abundance, therefore it's only the Xer was only made not to eat, but not to burn. That's not really. The Rabbi right away jumps on the Rambam when he says that's not the Gemara. In other words, a klicheres is not metam and migaba, and a kliches chuches is from the outside if it touches. And why is that? Because it's taking the Gemara. And that makes sense also, because it all looks alike. So inside, outside, and so on. So let's take the rules that we get from here. Klimatchis can become tahar in two ways. Mikveh, breaking, but they have to remain broken. The reason for Tumi Yeshana, we said, is a unique reason, the Rambam said, because we're going to compare breaking to tabling to breaking, and they're both, and we're going to forget about the halacha of Erev Shemesh. Lischuches is only midrabanan, but the reason they made a tumah because it is similar to lichas, because it comes from earth. However, lischuches that were broken and were reconstructed, not tummy. They don't have tumah yishana. Not like klimatchis, and the answer is because it's been through the sefer. That's what he says. If they broke, and even though they're usable, nope, they're broken, and they're not compared to ticheres. Okay. So that's it. There's another point there, but I don't want to get into the halacha. Klischuches doesn't become tamei from the just being in the confines of the Keilim. Has to touch inside or outside because of taking it back. Okay. Now this sugya is a sugya Masechta Shabbos Daf Tesvav in the Yud Ches Dover that were nigzar. The Gemara goes about to explain. The Gemara says that Kli Schuches, why is it tamei? Because hayil tchilas biryas menachay. So the Gemara asks, if so, let it be like Kli Haris. Shouldn't have Tara b'mikveh. Why can we table a Kli Schuches? Well, the Gemara goes on and says, not like that it doesn't have Tara b'mikveh either. The Gemara just explains it. That when you said that it does have Tara b'mikveh to mean something else. But in it doesn't have Tara b'mikveh. Then the Gemara asks, Yazil Torasam Yishana Kechlimatchis, since we made it somewhat like a Klimatchis, then we should it should be it should go back to the tumah. So the Gemara answers on this that since tumah yeshana is only rabbanan and tumah schulch is only rabbanan, lo yachisu l'rabbanan tumah. Make tumah. Yachisu l'rabbanan tumah. It's an interesting lesson, but we're not going to really explain it right now. Then the Gemara has about pshute l'tama like pshute l'matchis, right? So the Gemara says, no, we especially didn't do it that way because we didn't want to make it exactly like that. So the Gemara now goes on to add a bunch of questions, right? So the Gemara Rashi comes along and says, no, you're asking why it's not Matum Migaba? Why doesn't it become Tam Lit Migaban at all? I'll be near it like the Rabbi. So Rashi says, and therefore, Pshuteim tired. And they don't have to me Yeshana. I when they're taking a bar, the chutz there. There is no outside. It's only a teich, no outside because it's see through. That's the way Rashi understands it. And therefore, it makes sense. Why, like the Rabbi says, for that halacha, it makes sense. There's no outside. Yeah. Okay. Then the Gemara goes right and talks about this Tumah Yishana by Klimatchis. It tells a story with Shaltzina Malko. And then the Gemara ends up It says, why did they make the Gzeira of Tumi Yishana? So Gemara has two reasons. One, Abaye says Gzeira Shemali Yekvenu V'Dei Tara, so you might not make it a big enough hole to make it a Keilim. And the other answer, Rabbi says, is we say, like Rashi, like the Rambam's Loshen, but different, the words are, Shema Yemru Tvila Bas Yema Eilallah. So Rashi explains. What does it mean, Tvila? So, and then what's the difference between the two pshatim, whether it's Yikosh Shema Yigvenu or Yemru Tvila Bas Yema Eilallah? That you put it together so well that you cannot see that there was any that it was any, it has anything to do. No, I'm sorry, he broke it totally, broke it so strong that it's not shaykh to be shaykh. So that's what it says. That's where it'll be a difference. What's a difference? So let's go through Rashi. First, Rashi says, why will we say Leher of Shemesh? Because somebody sees that it became Tameh, and then he sees that you're using it the same day, he won't know that it was broken. He'll think that you tabled it. Okay, so not like the Ram. You think that you tabled this Klimatris. Then he goes on to explain what's this. Gemara says the difference between the two pshatim, that he broke him totally. So you can't have so that's just two pshatim. One is you can't hit chayshish. Maybe he's not going to make a big enough. No, it is broken to pieces. However, people might still think that you're using it without Erev Shemesh. And then he says the other pshat. No, you're always chayshish shemelik. But since it was broken to pieces, when people put it together, you see, this is it. They can't have any resemblance to the original Keilim because he had to really work it through since it was broken to such pieces. So therefore, there's no hashash that people will think it was just tabled. It's a totally new Keilim. They won't even realize it's the old Keilim. Doesn't have any resemblance to the old Keilim. That's the pshat. Okay, that's the facts. The information. Now let's see what the problems are. Well, we already enumerated some of the problems, but we're going to go through what many of the Achreinim asks. We already asked the Ravid's question, but let's go through. The Sfas Emes, Masechta Shabbos, says, why in the world does the Rambam need the reason why Klis Chuchis doesn't go back to Hashem because of Rabbanon Leitik? He says it's like a Klicheres. Klicheres doesn't go back to Mishanin. It's only Klimatchis that goes back to Mishanin. The Evan Yisrael, which we've quoted many times, Mr. Yankev Fisher, I mentioned every time I quote him that I knew him personally. I was at Rabbi Yishalayim. When I was learning Yishalayim, I got to know him a little bit, and I was very, very impressed with the man. Besides his knowledge, just his midas, and really, really special person. Anyway, so Yankev Fisher asks on the Rambam, he says, yeah, where says it goes into most of the reciting. That was said according to the Manda Omar that the reason was Glazer because Shema Yilay Yikvenu. According to Rava, that holds that it's all about Tvila Bas Yema. There's no Tvila by Klis Chuchis. Eilam Tar V'Mikveh, the Rambam says. So how can we be chayshish? Now we have the Ravid's question. Okay. So now we have the two ways that we noticed that Rashi learns one way, and the Rambam has his own way of Yavai Loimar. Shvir Meteres, Atvil Meteres, Shem Nishba. That's the Rambam. Now I think it's a Yisaydic word, and it answers some of the questions, but we'll get to that soon. Now, Rambam doesn't mention the Ratzvinu Meratz with the fact that if you broke it to pieces, there's a difference in Halacha. So there are those who say, which is the Mishnah Melech in Perokim, he says, because he holds like the first shot in Rashi, and therefore if he wrote Stama, so Leilam Chayzul to Mishan, it always goes back. That's why, but why didn't he say it? Should have said it. Okay, that's a big question, but let's leave that for now. And also, what are Rashi and Taisus arguing? Well, what is Rashi and the Rambam arguing? That they give different shots. He writes, we ask the question, not so bullshit. Why is he right? Targumura? It's not really Targumura. Yeah. And Blade Malin asked the question. Rambam Perek Aleph Halacha Yud writes that klischuchis that's made to be able to lay down on it is metama medrash midavrei midrabanan. So he says, but if you're saying that the tumah comes because it's a klicheres, the klicheres is not metama medrash at all. So why? I mean, as Rambam writes there in Halacha Ches, how did it suddenly become a tumah's medrash? Also, it says the Rambam Paskins klichuchis shenishra v'shavem Keilim ruin l'dashrish. They're ain't a mekam tumah. What? First of all, what's the fishein den l'kicheres? We just said that tumah comes from klicheres. What do you mean fishein den l'kicheres? Now the Rambam, and this is what one question. The second question is the Rambam in Perek Ches Halacha Yud writes that all Keilim that broke and cannot be identified as their previous Keilim, so the Shivreim are not Mekabel to them, even if you can use them. Except Shivrei Klecheres, She'im Hoya B'em Cheres Haroi Lekabel Arei Mekabel Tumas Shenem Mechlol Klecheres. That we learn out Kol Klecheres, no matter what, even Shivrei Klecheres. As long as it has some kind of ability to be Mekabel. So the Rabbi argues, it's not, and it's not our sugi now. There's a lot to say. This can have a shiur on its own. So he asks, but it isn't klischuchis like klicheres? Isn't it that tumah? So why, if it's like a klicheres in the same situation of Mekabel, why is it so hard? One more thing, because the Samas has a very interesting hakira, a halachic shayla. He said, there's an union of Tumah Yishan. What happens? A Keilim breaks, and it's interesting shayla to know. Keilim breaks, tabled it when it was broken. The hair of Shimsha, but when it was still broken. Or if it was Tumas Meis, you did Chazoish, the Shlishi Shvi. And then you put it together. What's Allah? And he goes, it's a good child. He says he has no Allah. It's Arachim again. Okay. This is interesting. If we get around to it, we'll discuss. So now, I want to, there seems to be an understanding that Klis Ruchis is like Klicheres, and that's why they're all asking on the Rambam, how come? But I don't see that. I see that the Rambam seems to really confuse us. In Perek Aleph, Hayil Tchilas Briyasam in Achol, Klicheres, and then in Perek Yud Beis, Ein and Daimel Klicheres. So perhaps the Rambam shit is no question that it is formed like a klicheres because it comes from the earth. So its origin is like a klicheres. So because of that, they gave it a din tumah. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given it a din tumah altogether. However, once it has a din tumah, it became a keli. It's not. It's not. It doesn't look like a klicheres, as the Rambam says. So therefore, they obviously said it's not completely daimel klicheres. That's clear in the Rambam. I don't know why everybody is so they have in Yisrael and the Chasemas are so strong on asking these questions when Rambam himself says, "Ain't it daimel klicheres?" As a blame malnat is bedaik, and it's a deal that's obvious standing in your face. So that answers the Chasemas' question. That why did the Rambam need the Svara Rabbanon Teknu? Since they're not at all, they are klimatchis in many halachas. It's a hybrid type of tumah. Now, perhaps one of the places where we lose the klicheres dimyan. Why is it klicheres? Because in Tchilas brios, could be once it breaks, the Chacham didn't treat it anymore that way. It's not shaykh to Tchilas brios. So now we start dealing with it like other Keilim, with the other Keilim, the halachas that it has. And that's what he says, where does he say it? In Shvira. So now we can understand, we can answer the question of Leibaston. Well, why is it Klischuches is not Hayil Vein Shivik Keilim Enim Akamatuma, because they are now not any. Now we treat it not like Klischuches. Now I mean not like Klicheres. So therefore, they have now we look at it as a Kli Matches halachas. Okay, and that's just, I think it says in the Rambam. I don't know why everybody is so focused on Hoyel Tchilas B'Riyasa, because that's the Gemara says. But the Rambam says we added those words. We shade a name with Klicheres. There's an aspect of not Klicheres. That's not the way we look at it. How do you do Tartas Hasid? Rabbanon made to didn't. It created the halacha based on klicheres, but the dinei tumah not after klicheres. Now, when it says hoyel mitamim megabon, the Gemara says it. The Gemara says it on one question, as it's clear in the Gemara, like the Raiva Tainus. But what is that word? What does it tell you? So the Rambam learns that since there is no, it's see-through, you cannot use anything about outside inside. There's no outside inside. So if there's no outside inside, there's no tumah. There's no. Therefore, they can come tumah migabon. They can come tumah, but they can't become tumah mitoiche either for that same reason. Avirai, because avirai means it's contained by an inside. There is no inside. It's all a keli without an inside and outside. So what does it need to do? It needs to touch achatiga. Wherever it touches, it's all touching the keli. That's all. There's no outside inside in this keli. And therefore, to become tamim kli can become tamim medras also. We said. Why? Why is klicheres not matama medras? It fits with what we're saying. Because we learn out asher yipal mehem el toicho yitama. Kol sheyesh like toich, the klicheres v'tame, the kabel tume, ain't like toich. Problem with medras, if it's late, a flat out klicheres, it's not a kli. It's not a klicheres. That's not a toich. But toich in Gemara takes away the toich. It means it's all just a keli without a teich. It's a hiddush keli. It's a keli without a teich. It's a keli without a gabbai. And therefore it's just negiyas. The negiya makes tummy, that's it. So it doesn't matter. Can't learn kol asher yesh li teich. Not shaykh to klicha. Okay, so now let's go. I want to go back to a point that we asked, which is negay very much in the Pshat. So the Rambam learns that the Gzeira is, we're going to say, Shvira mitaheres, Tvila mitaheres. Right? And therefore, we're going to learn one from the other. And therefore, we'll forget about the halacha of Her Shemesh. Rashi learns, because we're going to think about this as help, that maybe this was tabled. So the kasha. Right? The question is, so they ask that. So first of all, the question that the Evan Yisrael asked the Rambam is not a question. What's his question? We're going to think there's no din tvila by Lisluch. It's true, but we're going to think that other places, because we're going to compare the din shvir, the din of tahar. But I want to go a step further. Like Rashi, we spoke in the previous year in the Geya to tvila, said that there are two dinim in tvila. There's the silu katuma and there's the chalis tara. It's an act of tara. We discussed the guy going out of the mikveh into the mikveh. The shaila is, what is shvira? Shvira is just a silu katuma, or is it an act of tara? I think that's what maybe the machlekes Rashi learns. Rashi learns it's only silu katuma. Silu katuma. Whereas tvila is tvila. Therefore, you can't say hoyul shvir meteres. It's not the same thing. The Rambam that compares them and Taker says it's the exact same thing. They're both an act of Torah. In the state of Shvira, it's Torah. Perhaps that's why he writes Ve'ein likli matches Tara Gemura. It's a Tara Gemura when it's broken. You put it together. It's a new thing. New tumah. Tumah Yeshana, but it's based on a new tumah that's Chalma. Chisule Rabbanon tumah. The Rabbanon placed on the tumah. They didn't renew the tumah. They placed on the old tumah. So maybe first of all, there's nothing to talk about. People are going to compare the two and say that there's no Her Shemesh. There's no Tvila Vaikli, so who cares? It's the idea that's going to be. People, that's said in the Achreinim, that answer, but not with the second point that it's such a comparison of Mamash Tvila. Yeah. Right. So then that's the Shaila. Okay. Now, negate this Hasemis Shaila. Now, Hasemis wants to bring such a right from a different place, but I think from here, yeah. When it's broken, there is nothing there. It's Tara Gemura. Table it, you didn't do anything. It's no different. You didn't add anything to it. If you'll tell me that mikveh does something more than shvira, I like the way we understand Rashi. But could be based on this. It's not shaykh even the shayla. Okay. I want to say we scratched the surface because the sugya is massively big. But for this year, we'll have done what we can do. And Hatzlocher Rabba, Muflaga, be well.